And then we'll do a little shift here. Me and Bethke, at least. I don't know if Caesar went and did this experience, but there's a new Superman out there.
Oh, I did. I did.
Yes, that makes it better that we can all at least understand it.
You mean super woke?
Sure. I'm just glad that I'm glad that the people I know who might say those kind of things just don't bother with me at this point to say those things to me, so I don't have to have the conversation of like, okay, let me teach you about what Superman is.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even think it was really that bad. It was just a very, I would say, the most comic book accurate movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is a comic book movie, like exactly. So if you like comic book movies, this is what you want.
Didn't hold hands.
I just know that the people that would not like this movie because it's about Superman just being Superman, which is a kind guy who helps people,
better. He's
love the Snyders.
No, he's moral oral. Don't just say that he's nice. Don't just say that he's good-hearted. He is obnoxiously good-hearted.
Oh yeah, no, he's a dork.
He's earnest. Yeah,
he's an earnest dork from Smallville, Kansas. Like that's what Superman has always been. And then Zack Snyder comes in here. He's like, "What if we made him dark and brooding and morally conflicted?"
That's what happens. School shooter Superman is what happens if the Superman comes now. If that little spaceship is launched in Kansas circa 2025, you can bet your sweet ass that's school shooter Superman.
They can't make it in this universe, but if they wanted to do like an off-universe thing like they're doing with the Batman, and they wanted to adapt the Superman Red Sun where he lands in Soviet Russia instead, that'll give you some fun.
Well, I really do think that they're turned off of the Injustice version. I think Injustice is what's most popular because of the video games, the comic run.
Yeah, the evil Superman thing is played out, man. Like it is, at least from what I've seen in comic circles, people are done with this version. That's a version of Superman. Rather.
The good thing about what Gunn has at least said so far is like he's allowing the Batman to keep existing, the Penguin to keep existing in an alternate universe, not in like a multiverse sense.
So
like,
it's an unconnected. Elseworld sort of is how the kids
and I'm glad because that version of Batman feels there's so much untapped potential,
and it would definitely not fit in with this version of
Superman. No, not at all.
Which I think was maybe the point a little bit, is to kind of just squat, and I still see a lot of it. I mean, if you go on Twitter right now, it's just full of fan fiction with Bat and fucking Superman.
Which they could. I mean, they have the whole pocket universe thing they're already working with. Right. So at any point, they can break that glass. But
I just think, spoiler alert, the only reason that James Gunn and Matt Reeves are talking to each other and like keeping this thing going is because it's great for the fan service of it. I think they're both writing independent universes that are not ever set to clash as long as
they should.
Yeah, absolutely. They've seen what's happened with Marvel, where they've kind of like screwed themselves. I mean, they make a bunch of money, but they screwed themselves writing wise in terms of trying to make everything fit together and connect.
If we're going to look at the way they're both shot and presented, right? You look at the Batman, it is beyond grounded. Like there is nothing superhuman, even esque about Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Batman. He is really just a guy because he gets tired, he gets his ass kicked. He's very slow to figure out the mystery of what's happening around him.
Flesh out Gotham is meant to be sort of like The Wire. It's supposed to be this really introspective look
its own character,
and corruption and everything, right?
Yeah. So that's a very grounded version. Some might say that Christopher Nolan was. I would argue that it's actually a little bit more comic booky than
the first two were definitely more grounded. The third one starts to get a little.
I would say Matt Reeves is also not super grounded either. I would just say that it's a gritty, realistic world. I think that he actually did a smart job,
and that's not.
No, but he did low key put make Batman a little more OP than.
I mean,
so that's okay. But we like that. We like when you do that.
Are you talking about Matt Reeves did that? Because it didn't feel that way.
He should have blown up too. What are you talking about? He bomb detonated.
No, that's what you meant. Because I was thinking, like, what are you talking about? Like, his intellect is not there.
He did introduce mysterious green goo at the end with no explanation that just turned Batman into an actual super soldier.
That's true.
That's not mysterious. For anybody who's peeped it, that might be the thing that makes Bane. Bane. Right.
That's fair.
So that could be a tease because that might be who we get, and then I don't think that's who we're going to get in the next one. But You could just lay the little crumbs for.
And they're going to take a lot longer with the
gallery.
Batman stuff. It seems like James Gunn.
Well, yeah, they just finished writing the script. It's actually
James Gunn already announced the sequel to Superman, basically.
Well, Supergirl. It's not a sequel.
The spinoff.
Well,
it's just another movie in the universe.
Exactly. So
I think it's going to be before. I think most of it's going to be before this movie.
What I'm saying is, we may not get Superman 2. I think that James Gunn may be looking at the MCU and saying, "Hey, there's a lot of great here that we can use. There's a lot of stuff that actually I wouldn't do this way." And if you look at it, the next one is going to be the John Cena one. No, because
Peacemaker.
Well,
Peacemaker, Lanterns. Lanterns is also a part of the. Yeah, right.
With a different Green Lantern than we get in the Superman movie, by the way.
Now the next movie after Supergirl, then this one's
Lanterns.
This one's the most interesting one because we're seeing DC do a rogues gallery of a Batman villain, Clayface.
Right,
we're gonna get a Clayface movie, which is apparently going to be a body horror. But I'm like, all right, if this is in the new DCU, it's very interesting that they're doing what Sony did, which was let's just make villain-centric movies without the hero that villain belongs to.
I don't think it's necessarily going to do that. I think if anything,
it worked for Penguin. I mean, Penguin exists as a show without any. I don't even know if they mentioned Batman.
That's why it's prefaced it with DCU rather than like a Matt Reeves thing. Since this,
I think it's also possible they steal the MCU's method of introducing Spider-Man with Batman. It's a character we all know very, very well. We all know the origin. We all know it's only giving us Miles Morales or Damian Wayne.
Gunn definitely told us before this movie came out, he's like, there's a few things people don't need to see anymore, and it's Superman landing on Earth, the Waynes getting murdered, and Peter Parker getting bit by a spider. We just don't ever need to see that. Maybe
to
50
some
years
extent,
from now.
To some extent, yeah, I agree with that, but I do think it's unfortunate because it does rob a lot of people. But at this point, it's just
the beginning of all of those, and then every time they reboot them, it's the beginning of all of those.
Yeah, I think you just have to find new ways to retell stories, and maybe there's faster ways to do it.
I didn't realize
you don't have to lurk on it. Uncle Ben's death is also a big part of that.
I didn't realize the very first thing you see in Watchmen, the 2008 movie, is one of them saving the Waynes from being murdered, like during the title.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
didn't even know that it was a thing. That's pretty funny.
I think it's Rorschach, right? I can't remember. But
Rorschach.
Maybe. Rorschach.
One of them's or
maybe it was
newspaper.
The Jackass one that gets killed. Whatever.
But it's fun. I think it's just, especially just go see it in theaters, is awesome. I didn't love the shots where the camera's right in front of his face while he's flying. That felt weird. Like he was like holding a fucking selfie stick and flying, basically. But overall, I thought it was an incredible theater experience.
100%. I knew the moment when I walked in, or when I was walking into the theater. So it's me, 3 of my buddies are going in, and we're going to the IMAX here in Dallas. So as we're walking in, a crowd is walking out. I guess they had just finished airing the previous one. And there's this guy who looks like your stereotypical Texas Republican from the suburbs. And I'm quoting him verbatim. He's like, it was a fine movie, but they're just overdoing it with whatever the theme was supposed to be. And I'm like, you mean kindness and hope?
But he didn't know what bothered you?
Yeah, but he's like, it's just so in your face about it. I was like, okay, this movie's gonna rock if this is bothering him. And then I was like, all right, was it a little bit on that end? Yes, but it felt like a breath of fresh air, considering everything else going on.
Yeah, actually,
it was really nice to see colors in a Superman movie.
And I was watching I think it was like a YouTube short or a YouTube video about why so many hero movies have been muted in color recently.
Christopher Nolan.
Well, no, not even just that, but it usually somebody ties it into the socioeconomic state of the world. So the more colorful it is, the more bleak real life is actually, and then the more muted it is. It's like things are pretty good overall. So we're just going to create this
angsty.
Yeah, we're going to create this. That's what I heard. This was their theory, not my own personal.
I'm going to have to look at some release dates to.
So yeah.
So what I ask you, Patrick, is have you seen all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
See.
Yes. Is James Gunn comic book Wes Anderson?
He is. I could definitely see why you'd think that, because there are a lot of
because the
vibes across all of them. The jokes all feel the same.
The non-woke part of the criticism to this movie is basically that, from what I've seen.
And yeah, I mean, the same with the Suicide Squad movie.
Right. But
I will say, and I mean, that's why he is in control of the DC universe now, is the turnaround they did from the first one of those to adding "the" at the beginning and making an infinitely better movie.
And launching and realistically, is that not the launching point for the new DCU, whatever?
Sort of.
I mean, might as well, right?
It's they're gonna take some stuff from it, but some of that's still connected to the previous universe that they don't want to do. So it's like a
soft reboot.
No. It's a yes and no situation there.
We're just gonna call it a soft reboot of their cinematic universe.
Like Peacemaker season 1 is kind of part of the new DCU, but season 2 100% will be. Is how they're kind of saying it. So
yeah.
And that was a fun tiny little cameo of John Cena in Superman. I enjoyed
that. That was great. I was genuinely caught off guard by that. I was like, what?
And I did not recognize until I looked at the cast after. I recognized, but didn't realize until after I looked at the cast later that was Michael Ian Black playing the main news reporter guy.
I hadn't forgotten his name, but I'm like, I know this guy.
No, not Mad TV.
He was on Mad TV for a little bit.
He's been on a lot of
No, they had a different. What was their sketch thing called?
So Michael Ian Black, besides whatever you guys are talking
love
about,
the '80s and shit too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's on a bunch of VH1 stuff.
He's part of the State, which was a huge for comedian sketch thing. It was on MTV, and then
that's what it was.
Obviously, the Wet Hot American Summer stuff.
Right. He's a part of that cast.
Yeah, Stella, which I love, but is a little bit less known.
So, yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean. Lois Lane flew a spaceship, basically just was like, I got this.
That I did like, and I like the way that's written where he's like, it's intuitive, and we just move on.
Mr. Terrific, that's probably another way.
He was awesome.
Mr. Terrific was
I don't
really
know anything
fun.
about that character really, because I'm not huge into comics, but
they made him. So basically, they made him a little bit more of a whimsical nerd than I think he is traditionally. But I don't know enough about it. But from what I can gather, they kind of made him feel a little bit more like what your modern, confident, kind of nerdy guy would look.
Yeah, and I think definitely some of it is the right at the beginning where they're just kind of like we said, they don't hit you with origins. Like they're like, hey, metahumans have been here for 300 years. We already meet the Justice Gang kind of formed already. So I think if there was a version of him that wasn't that, it would have.
We do get the Hall of Justice. Obviously, that's pretty cool.
It's under construction. I like that.
And you get a teaser of all the old lore, basically all the super meta or the metahumans.
Right. The metahumans that came before them. Now I will say this: Nathan Fillion stole the show for me.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
Him as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, which I didn't really know too much about that iteration of Green Lantern. And so when I saw, I was like, why does Green Lantern have a bowl cut? And a dad bod?
James needs comic relief.
Every time I saw him, I was like, that's not Woody Harrelson. That's not Woody Harrelson.
But he was great. Every scene that
trusted after fucking Carnage.
That's not his fault.
I think every scene that he was in, except what was it? The scene where Superman, the crowd turns on Superman. And then, they have a private discussion. Outside of that one particular scene.
Maybe a teaser at a bigger opponent down the line.
Yeah, but outside of that one scene where the heroes and Superman are kind of talking about what the hell's going on, Nathan Fillion stole every scene he was in after that.
He's great.
Before and after.
I've always been a big fan. But I want to get to what was supposed to